This is LOA Recon with Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we explore the ins and outs of conscious creation to manifest our favorite dreams come true. Let's have some fun together. Welcome and thank you for joining me for another episode. I've been thinking about a manifesting skill that I've had to work on over time. I still am working on. I've still got room for improvement on this, but boy, have I come a long way. It's a skill that a lot of us, even those of us who are savvy about vibration management, are often dismissive of. In law of attraction circles, we talk about a lot of essential skills for successful manifesting, things like being able to focus on what you want, appreciation skills, engaging imagination. There are a lot of things that get a lot of airtime in conscious creation circles. But there's another proficiency that is just as important, even though it's often dismissed or ignored altogether, that I wanted to put a spotlight on. And that is knowing how to take a break. Taking a break can be hard to do. Our culture tends to favor working hard and proving yourself in order to earn the reward. It glorifies paying our dues and putting in the time with blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, it's so easy to get caught up in that routine where even savvy creators can find themselves on the hamster wheel of life, just constantly working and not having much to show for it. We're managed for productivity, or we even manage ourselves for it, always looking for ways to be more efficient and get more done. That's why it's countercultural, maybe even radical or revolutionary, to be willing to be non-productive on purpose, to put it all on pause, to just do a lot of nothing. And I'm not just talking about taking a break from work in order to run errands or clean the house, because a lot of people call it a break when all they're really doing is shifting their work activities. And yes, I know it can be a kind of break to switch from one thing to another, like working on the spreadsheet to doing laundry. Yes, that can be a break, or to go from answering emails to buying groceries. And that can be a helpful vibration management technique. I'm not dismissing that, but that's not the kind of break I'm talking about here. And I'm not even talking about, being regular about taking vacation time from work. Although the way a lot of people take vacation time is just as stressful as their work time, if not more so. How often have you said you need a vacation from your vacation? Or how often have you come back from vacation saying you need a day off? Okay, what I'm talking about here is taking a real break, giving universe some space, vibrationally, physically, emotionally, and certainly mentally, to deliver some magic your way. I'm talking about the magic of downtime to let dreams come true. Here's why this matters. A lot of times the good things happen when we're not trying for them, when we're not looking for them, when we're not working for them, when we're not even thinking about it. That's often when the inspiration hits that makes all the difference. And that's when the good news appears out of the blue, when we've made room for it by unplugging from everything else and just turning our attention within or to nothing. And honestly, it's just good for our psyche and our soul to put everything down for a while and just be. You've experienced that before, I'm sure, where you gave yourself a break and that's when the money windfall appeared, or when the new lover got on your radar, or when the body symptom cleared up. I know you know the power of giving yourself a break. Actually, sometimes the way we know this is because when we don't give ourselves a rest proactively, sometimes that rest comes in a way that forces us to have some downtime. Like, when we manifest an illness because we weren't willing to take time off of stressful work, or when life throws us a curveball, like the car breaks down or the money doesn't come through, that gets us out of the social obligations or the family responsibilities that we weren't willing to manage ourselves. When we think about it consciously, it's easy to understand the value of a break. So why aren't we engaging the magic of nothing, of having a proper break more often? It could be for a variety of reasons. It could be just the pressures of daily life or how our reality is structured. It could be the cultural conditioning. It could be the limiting beliefs we hold about the work that's required of us. It could be our worthiness programming, like we've got to prove that we deserve it or that we've earned a break. It could just be productivity pride or just plain old habit. But none of those excuses change the fact about how well it serves our manifesting game when we unplug thoroughly and regularly. Making room for nothing is good energy hygiene, plus it's an essential part of effective vibration management. So, how to take a proper break? You can take short ones daily or throughout the day for sure, but you also want to make room for more extended ones, like the kind that last more than just a few hours. Although for some people listening to that, even that would sound like a luxury. One day a week might be a good minimum threshold to shoot for, but really, you know what? Your guidance will tell you. Just be willing to listen for it and then honor it when you recognize you're being guided to nothing for a while. Meditation probably counts as a break for some people, for others, it might not. But let me ask you this. How do you know when you've had a good break? What did that look like? What were the elements that made it a proper break for you? It's likely different for each of us, but for me, a proper break includes, one essential element is not answering to anyone for anything. There's nothing I have to do, nowhere I have to be. It's just completely unscheduled, unregulated, unstructured time for me to spend however I like. That's one element. It's also stepping away from the responsibilities and the to-do list items, but even more than that, it's also stepping away from the usual joys and inspirations that call me every day. In my work, in my daily life, that's what keeps those joys and inspirations joyful and inspiring. It's the space between the notes, like, the musical notes, that makes the music music. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of noise. Another essential element for me is that there's no guilt or fear in taking it. Otherwise, that defeats the whole purpose. It's not really a break if you're worried about the repercussions or the fallout from taking it. All right, that's me, but it's different for each of us. So I'd like you to consider the question and find your best answers. When we consider how long a proper break needs to be, only you can say it could be 5 minutes, it could be 5 weeks, it could be 5 years. It depends on where you're at with it, maybe how long since you've had a proper one. And what does a proper break consist of? I'd say whatever calls you. It could be nothing, or maybe it's something. It could be here, where you live, or it could be to go somewhere else. It could be alone, it could be with others. Again, that's highly individual, so you'll want to find your best answers for what a break is for you. That's the other thing. A proper break is for you. It's not just that you stop working so you can take care of someone or something else. It's for you. And it's also completely unplugged. It's not on standby. It's not to jump in if you're needed. It's not checking to make sure there aren't any new fires to put out. It's really getting away from it. It's giving yourself a proper break. Has this made you think about what your last really good break was? And what the elements of that were that made it so rejuvenating, so valuable to you? You can find your own formula for your best break-taking when you just mine your history for it, or even just entertain your fantasies about what a break would be, and then find a way to bring those fantasies to life in whatever ways you can, even if they're small at first. How do you know when you've had a proper break? Oh, it's delicious, isn't it? It's when you feel excited or delighted to get back to work or to get back to daily life. It's when you've got the energy and the enthusiasm for resuming your regularly planned schedule. I've got a couple of tips for how to give yourself a proper break. The first one is that a break isn't necessarily a break if it's just an interruption from work. Like lunch breaks and weekends, they're typically thought of as break times, but a lot of people don't experience those things as periods of relief. If you're working through lunch or eating at your desk or skipping lunch altogether, or if your weekends are just filled with errands or taking care of others, yeah, that might be an interruption from work, but it's not a break in the sense that it's restoring or rejuvenating you. Ooh, here's another tip. Taking a break is similar to hydrating the body. You know how they say, if you wait to drink until you're thirsty, you've waited too long because you're already dehydrated? Yeah, it's the same with breaks. If you wait until you need one, like showing signs of burnout, you've waited too long. Good vibration management practice is to stay ahead of it and build them in before you need one. I'm just saying you need them sooner than you think. It's like hydration. If you're thirsty, you waited too long. If you're thinking you needed a break, you're overdue for one. Take one before you need it. Another tip, if you're already good at following the feel-good throughout your entire day, you might think, yeah, break's not required for me. I live inspired. I only do what I feel called to because my day's just one enjoyable thing after another. But what I've noticed myself is that even living that routine, my guidance still calls for breaks. It still calls for downtime. In fact, well, that is following inspiration. Being inspired to do nothing for a while isn't a lack of inspiration. It's guidance saying now's the time for nothing. And it is smart practice to honor that. For anyone who might be listening to this thinking, yeah, well, it'd be nice, but I just can't. Look, you're right. Whatever you think, whatever you believe, you're right. You're creating your reality, not me. And I wouldn't try to convince you otherwise of anything that you're declaring for yourself because you're always going to win. But I do know that when you think different thoughts, you make yourself available to different realities. You can think something like, well, I actually do get some breaks here and there. It's not like I'm starting from scratch. And yeah, I probably could upgrade the way I use some of that time, like, maybe not scrolling social media or reading the news or griping with my colleague over coffee or whatever. And yeah, maybe I could find a few extra minutes in the day to add to it too. Just thinking something different makes something else available to you. Or you know what? You could also just set an intention to see more opportunities or possibilities for having a real, legitimate, refreshing break, and then watch universe deliver because your intentions are powerful like that. So I'm just saying, don't argue for your limitations as much as you turn your attention to the possibilities. In the meantime, here's to the wisdom of goofing off and giving ourselves downtime and just enjoying the refreshing possibilities of a proper break, however we can give ourselves those. I hope you got some inspiration from this. Thanks for listening, everyone, and happy manifesting.